All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Vicarious podcast. We got a banger for you today. We're going over my favorite Adam Sandler movies. We're talking about this team right here, the worst in the league probably right now. At least that's how I feel. Their record is pretty bad too. But yeah, the problem with the Colts, let's go right into this subject before we go over the my top 5 Sandler funniest. The problem with the Colts is the ownership. They're just it almost seems like they're just trying to do the bare minimum with quarterbacks. The past probably after Andrew Luck, they went, let's not sign big deals. Let's sign. Oh wait, hold on. Am I coming through on this? Sorry guys. All right, here we go. I heard an echo. Okay. The big problem for me is after Andrew Luck, they started to do these 1 to 2 year deals with guys that were either past their prime, they knew they weren't going to be any good, or they signed them for a year or two to maybe see what they could do. I think a lot of it is a cash grab for merchandise. I think a lot of it is kind of banking on some of these older guys when they retire as a Colt, or they kind of have like more of a mentorship as a Colt. And that's fine if it's a backup. But my problem is when you're starting guys that are, basically retired, that should be a second or third string spot. That really should not be a starting position in the NFL, especially at quarterback. So really, basically, really until the Colts actually decide, hey, we need to stick with somebody and we need to go with someone just like they did with Luck. Like, I understand after Manning, it's just like with New England after TB12, dude. You're going to kind of have that lull period, and you're going to also kind of be almost timid to find, almost a look for another TB or almost a look for another Manning. But I really think with what the Colts need to do now is just find younger guys and mentor them through the process, because that's what they did with Manning. And look what happened with Manning, dude. Hall of Famer, beast. I wish he would have had a couple more rings as a Colt, but still two-time ring winner for Manning. One with Denver, one with Colts. Both are horse teams. Pretty crazy, right? But yeah, so let's jump in. I was watching Anger Management last night. Such a cool fucking movie. I've seen that movie 3 million times. Adam Sandler, Jack Nicholson, not Jack Nicholas, because he's not an actor. So I basically wrote down a list of Sandler's funniest movies. Some of these aren't as, you'll see with my top 5 that I actually result in. It's going to be more of the full comedy movies and not per se more of like a dramedy that he kind of does nowadays with some of his movies. But, we have movies like Mr. Deeds, Uncut Gems, Lil Nicky, 51st Dates, and this is not in the order yet, but Anger Management, Waterboy, Big Daddy, Billy Madison, and Happy Gilmore. Those are the kind of movies I'm working with this list. There's plenty of other movies that are either stinkers and they're not good, or they're more of a he was going more for a drama role. So like Funny People, that the role he has, it almost is more of a drama role. So so these are kind of more of the strictly funny, strictly comedy writing that do make the top 5. So number 5, we're going with Anger Management. And the reason that wasn't any higher is just because him and Nicholson kind of, they obviously share the limelight in that movie. So it's not as goofy as his like, straight up just hilarious comedies. Also too, he had the romantic relationship with Marissa Tomei's character. She's a fucking fox. If you've seen The Wrestler, we might have to talk about The Wrestler on this podcast. Mickey Rourke and is it Mickey Rourke? Is that his name? Mickey Rourke, yeah. And then he plays a aged wrestler, so it's really fucking good. Definitely one of my faves as well. So we'll have to, I'll have to dig that up somewhere. I'm not sure where, if it's on streaming anywhere, but I'll have to dig that movie up and we can talk about that eventually. Yeah, we're going on a tangent. I'm sorry guys, but going off on a tangent. But last week I teased a new series I was going to watch, movie series. That movie series will be Final Destination. There are 5 movies on Hulu. All 5 of them are there. I remember seeing the first one, maybe the second one when I was younger. I don't know about the others. I know they all have like certain themes when it comes to, and those basic principles. The basic principle of those movies is, there's a huge incident where a group of people could have died. They didn't die in that incident, and the kind of death is creeping for them in a way. So really spooky. I'm going to have to dig into those before Hulu, before whoever owns that, Universal or whatever, decides to take them off. So I'll have to do like a big weekend, maybe this weekend or next weekend. I'll go on a big excursion with that and just go deep in those. Okay, so back to the Sandler list, guys. We went off on a tangent. I love movies. We can talk about it all day. So Anger Management was 5th. There was a little bit of kind of, BS at the end with, go Yankees. And like, I'm not a Yankee fan, so it's kind of bullshit. I think that's kind of annoying about Sandler. So that kind of brought it down a little bit, even though there's some hilarious scenes in that. Especially where Nicholson sets up Sandler in Boston. And like that people use that for like, oh man, I'm spitting all the time. People like to use that for gifts a lot, where he's just like, yeah. It's just classic scene. And then number 4, we're at Big Daddy. Gosh, just Big Daddy's fucking hilarious. The only reason it's not any higher on the list is just like with Anger Management, where, there is some drama. I mean, there's some scenes that are actually really sad. With having the kid, they take away the kid and stuff like that. Spoiler alert, it's only been out for like 30 years. So, but yeah, they, like the what is it, like the parent services or child services takes the kid that he was taking care of. So that was kind of sad because those twins are really good at acting. So like, especially when they were really young. So it was definitely a sad scene, especially when you're a kid yourself watching it. I was just like, oh man. But no, yeah, there's funny scenes when they're doing the they went to McDonald's and they met Steve Buscemi's character. That was hilarious. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a very funny movie as well, but there are scenes that are more of a drama, and I think Sandler, he likes to write that balance in with such a funny movie. So at number 3, and this is where we get, this is where the top 3 could honestly be in any order, just because these are just classic comedies. I put Waterboy at number 3, and just like I said a second ago, first, second, and third spots basically could be in any order. These are some of the best comedies I think ever. So Waterboy is at number 3. The reason that wasn't number 1, at least on my list, or number 2, it's just the goofiness can get a little too much for the storyline. I feel like by the time maybe before like their big game at the end, they could have cut out some of the stuff with what's her name, Kathy Bates. I thought that kind of slowed down the comedy a little bit of it, but just like with Big Daddy, Anger Management, and also Mr. Deeds too, it did not make the top 5, unfortunately, Mr. Deeds. But just like with Mr. Deeds as well, Sandler does like to write in some of the more of the romantic relationships and also a little bit of drama as well, just to kind of bring everybody in the storyline. I think, I think that was really smart of him. Even with more of his goofier movies, there is more of a, like a homely, romantic feel as well. So, and I think sometimes in his newer movies with Sandler, he's taken that a little more than his comedy, just because like the older you get, the more you want to kind of, get a little more serious with your work with that. And I also think too, like he, with all the movies he does now, I think he's always wanted to do more than just SNL stuff. So I think, there's a place for the goofier Sandler. And I think now with him being older, there's a place for more of the uncut gems, Adam Sandler. So yeah, Waterboy's at 3, super fucking funny, dude. Especially with like just the team setting and the there's like that hillbilly guy or whatever, and he's just like, hey, mom, like the coach. I think he was like a kicking coach. I don't know what he was, but like that guy was hilarious. He was like, I know Bob Boucher. He's in a bunch of other movies. He was the dad in 50 First Dates. So Waterboy's third spot. Number 2, we're going with Billy Madison. Conditional is better. Such a goofy movie, very funny. You know, when it comes to how he wrote in the relationship with the teacher, I thought that was really cool. Also, it wasn't very forcing. You know, like some of these other movies, like Anger Management, you could kind of tell like that, you know, kind of the relationship storyline of that movie. It was kind of not necessarily forced, but like I like how he did in Billy Madison better. It was a little more tasteful, you know, like even though it was more immature and he was just like, just that movie's so fucking funny, and like Chris Farley's in it. It's just so good. But yeah, the way he wrote in the teacher, and I really like that over really any of the other things he did with the kind of the romantic stuff, because basically in every movie, like every movie, yeah. So like every movie I wrote down of his that were my basically kind of a, you know, just a big list of funny movies from him, there's always like a romantic relationship in it. And I think in certain movies, there's a certain, he kind of has it in a smaller portion is what I like. Because you know, with Sandler, you click on it for the comedy usually, you know? So yeah, Billy Madison's at 2. And obviously with Waterboy and Billy Madison being 2 and 3, that order could be any there, either way. And then number 1, we're going. I want to check the time. I'm about to do a workout. Number 1, guys, hold on. Let me get the sip in. Number 1, funniest Adam Sandler film by John Vi. Happy fucking Gilmore, dude. So right off the bat, any kind of like sports comedy is funny. Any kind of, you know, especially with golf, I thought that was just so fucking funny. And Chubbs, and you know, there's just some like legit characters. Shooter McGavin, dude. There's some legit characters in here that just, you know, even just being a movie, much less a comedy from Adam Sandler, like that movie's fucking hilarious. Like you, especially like if you show like, you know, people that have never seen an Adam Sandler movie and you show them Happy Gilmore, dude, that shit's gonna rock the house, you know? So yeah, Happy Gilmore, the reason it's number 1, at least on my list, and like I keep reiterating, the top 3 really could be in any order. You know, just like I said, you know, it being centered around golf, I thought was funny, because golf, just like a lot of other sports, hold on guys. Oh, excuse me. Glad I turned away from the mic. That was very rude. The reason I liked Happy Gilmore at number 1 is because, you know, especially when you kind of play on the golf etiquette stuff and you know, you see kind of how crazy he gets on a golf course. It's just so funny. And it kind of reminded me of his anger management, because I was going to bring this up too when I was making this list. I kind of thought about how his character in anger management reminded me of Happy Gilmore, where like at certain points he could control himself, and then at other points he would just snap. So I thought it was kind of interesting. Like it almost had like a Happy Gilmore 2 kind of vibe to it, where like you could totally see that, okay, this is Happy Gilmore, you know, in a sense, after, you know, maybe, you know, leaving golf and you know, not needing to make so much money, because his, you know, reason to do it in the original was to help his grandma out. So, you know, let's say he made all this money down the line, and then hey, he's doing the other thing in anger management. You could kind of see where, like, you know, those two characters kind of fit a little bit. But also I was thinking about too that you know, especially when he tied in with anger management, the Yankees, and like, oh, you know, you're at a Yankee game with your babe and stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of the movie Fever Pitch. It actually reminded me a lot of the movie Fever Pitch, and I'm very sure that Fever Pitch was after anger management. And it kind of made me think, because Jimmy Fallon was the lead in Fever Pitch with Drew Barrymore, and I thought, how funny would that be if he like on purpose tried to make like a parody of Sandler movies, because it almost kind of seems like a parody of a Sandler movie. Like, it's kind of silly. And it's, I really thought about it with Anger Management, where like, they're playing, they're at a Yankees game, so they're kind of playing the New York sports stuff. So it kind of made me think of a Sandler movie with Fever Pitch. So that's something to think about too. Like, did Jimmy Fallon, also being SNL alumni, kind of say, oh, hey, let's just kind of, take this blueprint of a Sandler film, or hey, let's try to parody a Sandler film. Because I think they're very similar. I really do. So let's stop it right there, guys and gals. Thank you so much for watching this. Be on the lookout for the music show. I'm going to be recording that this weekend, and we'll get that out as soon as possible for you guys. Also, check out, coming very soon, we're going to have the Patreon fully up and running for, I think we're going to keep it at $6 American a month. You're going to get weekly bonus podcasts. You're going to get behind the scenes stuff, recording myself, doing recordings and talking about different things, and hey, here's what's coming up. So updates, Q&A, stuff like that. And then also, what other perks do we have here? Oh, also unreleased music. So stuff, music that just doesn't make the cut with, within my management, or, maybe it's something that I kind of sidelined because I thought it wasn't something that I should be, pitching to people, or, say if it's a remixed version of something that I've already done, or remastered of something I've already done, or maybe it's just, hey, here's acapellas, and here's, instrument stems. So, my producers out there, if you guys want to, do a remix or do a remaster of something of mine, and then, we could, obviously, you can obviously release it, and then, we would talk about that. If you want to use it, definitely cite me, credit me, and we can talk about anything like that. So yeah, we're going to have some really cool stuff on the Patreon, guys. I don't think it's that expensive for what you're getting. And then it's just going to be one tier. It's kind of like, just like if you're getting an app on your phone or getting an app on your television for a monthly fee, it's just kind of a one time per month open season kind of thing. So you're getting everything for that one thing. Oh, also too, you're getting on the thank you list. So that'll be thrown in before every podcast that I release on YouTube. So I hope that interests you for the perks. But guys, until then, stay cool, stay classy. We'll see ya.